Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Mijanur Rahman and I'm a PhD student in Aerospace Engineering Department at Auburn University, supervised by Dr. Nicoletta Fowler. And I'm very happy to present my work, themes related to work-induced fatigue and burnout among certified flight instructors in front of you all and this online ISAP conference. So it is my second time presenting a poster and the first one online. So to make this presentation more focused while also keeping the structure of the poster same, during the presentation, I will go through this poster section by section and bringing to foreground the relevant sections, while also the cameo section and the QR code will remain the same. So if you are interested in looking at the poster in detail or the paper, that will be available in the QR code. So with that enclosed, let's begin. So in flight training, CFIs, certified flight instructors, play a very important role. They are actually responsible for the flight training itself, mentoring students and also ensuring flight safety. But in flight training, CFIs actually experience several challenges at their workplace. This include inconsistent schedules, long hours at the airport, and sometimes limited organizational support. Now, the FAA has 8-hour limitations on flight duties for the CFIs, but that 8 hours does not include non-flight duties like mentoring students, debriefing, and admin work, or maybe just being at the airport. So CFIs experience long extended work hours at the airport, which cause fatigue and burnout. Now, fatigue and burnout can reduce training quality while at the same time compromise flight safety. Now, for a wide myriad of reasons, the CFI role is seen as a transitional role, not a permanent one. Most CFIs are there just to build flight hours as quickly as possible and pursue an airline position. Now, we have studied the literature and prior research shows that CFIs do experience sleep deficits, stress, and work overload among CFIs. Now, most of the literature is focused on imparting training quality and effectiveness of training, but the lived experience of CFIs concerning the work-induced fatigue and burnout has not been studied in much detail. Which brings us to this research objectives, where we start with identification of recurring themes of work-induced fatigue and burnout among CFIs using focus groups. Then we assess how these different factors affect the CFI's work performance, training quality, and flight safety. Finally, we propose practical interventions for improving the CFI's well-being and performance. To conduct this research, we used focus groups. We designed the focus groups based on some of the findings of an online survey that we did previously. And within our focus group protocol, we had guided questions and open-ended questions as well. Open-ended questions which ask the CFIs what they would do if they were in a major decision-making position to make the situation better. Some questions like that. We also included scenarios, like we gave the CFIs that a student is being fatigued on flight. How would you handle that situation? Then we conducted 6 focus groups, 3 of them with CFIs, 3 of them with flight students. And the reason behind this was that we wanted to understand how fatigue and burnout is affecting the CFIs, while at the same time, how are the students perceiving it? How are the students able to recognize the CFI's fatigue, and how is it impacting their flight training, experience with flight training? So 6 focus groups, 3 with CFIs, 3 with flight students, and 28 participants in total. 11 of them were students and 17 of them were CFIs. And after the focus group was done, we took the transcript and we ran a thematic analysis when we coded the responses and then performed a clustering of the codes. This brings us to our results and discussion section. So we found 5 primary themes which relate to the work-induced fatigue and burnout of CFIs. And we categorize these themes into 3 classes. We start with the systems level themes. So these themes are the ones which are systems wide. They're at the organizational level. So these two themes are the organizational issues and financial pressures. So in the case of organizational issues, uh, we conducted the focus groups at collegiate flight schools, Part 141 schools, which are affiliated with universities. So there are another type of flight school as well, like the Part 61s, which are not affiliated to any universities. So these different kinds of flight schools have different FAA rules and regulations and structural frameworks that comes with different cultural differences, which shape the overall organizational issues. We came across the issue of the rigid flight scheduling, where the CFIs did not have any preference of choosing morning or evening flights. They were pretty much bound to a rigid schedule. Sometimes limited access to aircraft due to weather issues or like maintenance issues, which actually build up the pressure to complete all the training in a limited amount of time. And then course completion expectations. So that is particular in the case of Part 141 schools, which have structured curricula, which have some semester timelines, which the CFIs have to address. So CFIs were in a race to get students training completed within a specific timeline, which caused uh, fatigue. Then financial pressures. This is probably the most common talked about theme, where CFIs indicated that the compensation is not adequate and there is lack of income stability. And many of the CFIs are recent graduates, so they have student loan obligations, debt obligations, which also belong to the financial pressures. And sometimes for these reasons, the CFIs are seen to overwork themselves or, as quote, work themselves to death. So, which also builds into the fatigue and also undermines the flight safety. Next, we move on to the individual level themes. So these themes are specific to the CFIs. So we start with fatigue. So erratic schedule, early morning flights, and overworking drives fatigue. Then also, we found that the effect of fatigue extends beyond the physical dimensions and emotional dimensions as well, where CFIs are mentally detached from the training. They just don't feel like conducting a training flight. The next step is burnout. So burnout is actually a result of prolonged fatigue, and burnout has different dimensions. So as per the Maslach burnout inventory scale, which we used as priorly in the surveys, so burnout is being characterized by emotional exhaustion, disengagement, and apathy towards students, which basically sums up to like CFIs not being emotionally at the best place. They're disengaged from the training, like they don't believe in the program anymore. Some of them coded to like down talking the program, and apathy towards students. So they, at some times when they're reaching burnout or at a burnout stage, they just don't care about the students and their success and their whole career overall. Finally, our outcome level theme, which is the impact on training. So the system level themes, the individual level themes, all funnel down into the outcome, the undesired outcome, the negative impact on training. So we have seen that fatigue and burnout leads to skipping instructional key content, like CFIs are not sometimes addressing some part of the lessons, or they're experiencing brain fog. Sometimes when a student asks question, they're just blank. And this phenomena has been noted by the students as well. And also all of this combined into a decline in training quality and flight safety. So in many introductory training flights, the student is really a beginner pilot. So flight safety, especially in terms of critical maneuvers, actually depend on the CFI. So if the CFI is fatigued, burnout, so flight safety is also being compromised. With this, we come up with the interventions. So our first intervention is the system level intervention, which corresponds to the first two themes. We propose a defined pay scale for income stability and adding allowances for flight and non-flight duties to take care of the building up non-flight duties and to balance the overall pay structure. We propose health insurance and retirement plans to give this career a more of a streamlined shape. And also we discuss about streamlining aircraft maintenance schedules to increase aircraft availability. In terms of individual level interventions, we propose introducing flexible scheduling so that some CFIs who prefer morning flights can do morning flights, some who prefer afternoon flights can do afternoon flights. We also propose investing in career development program for professional growth so that the CFIs have something to look forward to develop themselves in terms of their teaching methodology, in terms of becoming an overall better pilot. And at the end, sometimes incorporating some just fun flights to make the overall experience more enjoyable. With this, we come to the concluding remark where we have discussed that CFIs do face several workplace challenges within the broader 5 themes, and we have also seen that these issues are not isolated, they're systemic. They go from a systemic to an individual to an outcome level. And finally, we've talked about the interventions where we discuss the several interventions which prioritize CFI's well-being, and ultimately it can lead to better flight training and also a better training effectiveness and flight safety overall. With all of this enclosed, I thank you for your attention in listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on the OVA platform. I'll be happy to get back to it. And I'm also looking forward to attending all of the questions, if any, at the Q&A session. Thank you very much.